What's up? Watch out for that bike. Um, yes, I forgot that, as I said in the Discord, I've changed a lot of things since I've used the laptop left, and the stream key was one of them. So I went to go live, nothing happened. I'm like, oh, that's the last thing I forgot about. So yeah, now I think I got everything running. Um, how's everyone doing? Got some people in there. So yeah, I figured I wouldn't mess with the countdown. So once I finally got it to work, I'm like, well, we'll be a couple minutes late. Uh, yeah, so yeah, it was crazy because I come down here, I'd started the laptop, and then I'm like, oh, I've changed everything upstairs. Like I didn't have a link to the Discord to show in here for all our photos. Didn't have the overlay running, so that does look like it's appearing now. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, everything looks like it's working. I didn't put the chat on screen because just the way it's going to work with trying to work on the bike, I thought it would take up too much real estate and all that stuff. I do like having it up there for the playback, but when I'm doing stuff upstairs and I have the two screens and the big monitors, it's easier to fool around with all that. Down here, it's just kind of a pain. What's up, Lauren? How you doing? It looks like we got some of the usual suspects. We got Rick, we got Gary. Wait, Roger, not Gary. Yeah, hey, what's up, Brodford? Yeah, the other thing I got used to is sitting at that desk. You know, I could have the chat right there, so when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the camera too. This way, I just do the phone thing. So basically, I have my own channel open. But tonight I got, we already shared some pictures, but let's see. Columbus Technicolor, which we talked about a few times. And I think I had it on the stream before, but one of my favorites, and only 10 bucks for a six pack, which for craft beer all of a sudden sounds cheap the last little while. But this one's so good. Hey, what's up, Dennis? Hey, what's up, C-Statin? Yeah, so right before I came on, I was just like struggling with this thing because I wanted to change the shifter out. And I guess I have never taken a grip off a flat bar before, and that was a real pain. Like my shoulder hurts, I was like braced against the bike. So if anyone has tips on how you get those off, I've seen at the shop Ben shoot the air compressor under there, but I don't have well, I do have an air compressor, but I don't have it set up and ready to go. It's like more of like one of the portable electronic style ones, but yeah, that didn't cross my mind. So I would love to know a tip on getting those, if there is one, or if it is just straight up, elbow grease and yanking those things off. Eggplant emoji. Oh yeah, so well, getting different grips is obvious a solution, but is there a solution for the this one's like fully just rubberized. Actually, Otis just threw this on when he put these bars on. We were talking in the Instagram. Someone asked about if this fork was original. It's not. It's just a straight steel fork. So this bike used to have rock shocks on it that were just totally worn out and beat up. But alcohol under the grip, use soapy water. Yeah, so I did end up getting some dish soap and putting it at the end, which I think helped. But you still have all that friction, between where you're going to get it. Like this wasn't, I don't know, I couldn't really stretch it far enough. But yeah, my grips were all beat up. And then when he was replacing the fork, he just gave me these bars. He threw them on there and he threw some new grips on there and everything. He's like, you need this. He was right. It needed new grips and the wider bars than the stock ones are pretty nice for having a flat bar bike. That is now just my winter bike. Alcohol under the grip. X-Acto knife. Hand sanitizer. Yeah, I guess hand sanitizer would be the same as the alcohol, right? That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, I was kind of like, at first I was like trying to pry it a little, then I was worried I was going to tear it. It was basically just slow rotation. But yeah, I thought I'd start off before I get into this with talking about the last video, which was the how many bikes do you need, which was obviously a reply to Lanky Cyclist video. To me, it was just like a fun thought exercise, and I just wanted to see all the comments. I knew it would generate comments, like people would be interested in, like, everyone has an opinion on that, and, whether it's get every bike you can or just minimize. And a couple of the comments seemed a little more like, and there's no tone in comments. It's like the problem with everything since emails were in, IMs and all that stuff. Since everything was social media, there's no tone, which is always like a little bit. Some people seemed a little bit serious on being like harsh about it. Like, I obviously messaged Lanky Cyclist before I made that video and told him I was going to do it. He sent me the thumbnail so I could use it in my thumbnail. So like, I told him like, oh, I'm going to make this as like a counterpoint, but it's not really going to be a counterpoint because I don't really have an argument with what you're saying. Like, you make a good point. I'm going to, think about it and make what I think for me is the minimum. So to me, it's just like a great discussion. It's not really like Pudgy said, there's no right answer in the comments, and that's totally, there's no right answer. There's a number of bikes that maybe you could get by with and live with, but that doesn't even mean that's the amount of bikes you're going to own. And even Lanky has, like he said, he has his old Le Mans that he has on his trainer, and I think he said he had one more, but he considers his Le Mans like his pub bike too. So, it was like for fun. So if anyone took that a little too serious, it wasn't supposed to be, and it was actually no call out on Lanky. It was done with his, knowledge that I was going to do it and everything. But I did put up that poll on YouTube, and I should have set that poll up better. I made it, so would you have 2 bikes, 4 bikes, or more? I should have made it 2 or 3 or more, which is kind of obvious to me now. I don't know why I didn't. But the voting on that for 2 bikes came in at 50%. Having 4 bikes came in at 12%, and having more bikes came in at 30%, 38%. So 50, 12, and 38%, and there were about 30 votes on that. So, this is not a sampling of the cycling world, but of people who saw my post on YouTube Mobile and voted. But yeah. Hey, what's up, William? Triggered. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think most people, and I don't even think the comments that I thought might be a little serious were. It's just like I said, there's no tone, so you don't know. But to be like totally transparent, like there was not supposed to be any mean-spirited argument of saying anyone is wrong with their answers. It was like, yeah, let's hear what everyone thinks. Like that's totally like everyone's world is totally different. Like a guy that I don't think has been in the live streams before, but I'm not sure if he's a subscriber or not, but commented he was that guy. He had a fleet of like nice vintage bikes. He was like, oh, the more the merrier. Like I have an entire collection. He's like, I don't need any of them. So yeah, just a fun topic. I thought it was a fun topic. As soon as I saw Lanky's video, that popped in my head. I'm like, oh, I want to make one of these. Like I want to make a video of how many bikes do I think you should own? Like, and like I came to me, like 4, if I was just serious about like downsizing and having 4 that really suited all my needs, I think that's what it would be. It would be the gravel bike, the winter bike, whether it was this or like some kind of fat bike, some kind of road bike. Like I prefer the Neo Retro build on a steel bike, and then like something that could be a little cheaper, that could be the city bike, and that that could be a fixie, a single speed. For me, it's mostly my Peugeot, but yeah. But that's definitely not all I own, because then I have my cycle touring bike and other vintage bikes and the bike I just built and the trainer bike, and yeah. So. Yeah, you thought it was friendly banter? Good. Yeah, I thought most of it seemed very good spirited. So, And then I don't always remember where I read all the comments, respond. Some were on the poll, some were on the page, some were on Instagram, some were direct messages relating to the Instagram stories. So they're at Discord, so they're all over the place. So it's always hard to remember and keep it in a coherent order. Try to think of. Oh yeah, the other thing with the streaming, like I did get the streaming, that third-party software to work on here. And I realized last time, by the way, because I think Aaron and Pudgy then did super chats, and how I said it would like pop up and make noise and all that. It actually does. I had the desktop audio off, so I heard it and I was like, oh, that was kind of cool, because this robot read out your name and the message and all that kind of stuff. But I think only I was the one hearing it. So if that ever happens again, it should be audible to everybody. So yeah, fix that problem, I think. Yeah, the other thing too is I want to make more emojis for the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, did my little bot drop its link yet? You should get in there. Let's take a look actually what everyone's posted with what they're sipping on there. I got to remember how I have everything set up on this. Oh, that was Summit Perry was drinking a Yingling. Pudgy's got a North High, what, a Russian Stout. Oh yeah, we were talking about this before we came on. Man, this mouse is horrible. Rick Urbanski's drinking some Woodford. I love this flask. There we go. That flask is really cool. That's an REI flask. Ben is drinking some homemade wine from Bob Darrow. Bob Darrow's been in the chat some nights, and he's in some of my videos. So, yeah, he does a bunch of homemade wines. He's bought a bunch to the shop. Patty Redbeard's got a Hudson whiskey from New York. Do the rye thing. Nice. Got my drink. Oh yeah, we're looking at man, sorry, this is a slow the Stanley flask. And with the Crust bike sticker. Nice. Whoops, wrong buttons. I think my laptop running, so 2 browsers, the OBS software and everything, it's definitely not like being upstairs. But the good thing is working on starting to get the ideas together. We got the ideas together for the new computer build. So when I get my new editing computer built, I'm going to bring the old one down here and have that hardwired to the internet, so I could use it for Zwift and I could use it for this kind of stuff, and then just as an editing backup. So if I have any problems with the other build, I'll have another computer. But I'm kind of excited for that. So, and then, you know, have multiple screens for that one. I'll just buy cheaper monitors, and I have an old TV that could be like the backup monitor, stuff like that. Am I still running? Everything looking good. Yep, showing that stream condition is good. You guys would not be responding if the audio wasn't good. Oh, it's... Thank you for the $1.99. Let's see if we get our... Might be delayed a bit. I think the chat... There we go.
Pudgy Pedal Pusher Super Chatted $1.99.
Did it pop it up? Did it say it out loud? Because I think I still had my headphones on when it happened on last Thursday, but here I don't. But it showed the volume knobs popping. Well, thank you, even if it didn't. But it made it look like it did. Yeah, the thing I was thinking tonight. Oh, it was intense. It popped up. Oh, nice. Maybe I need to turn that volume down a little bit. I see it's on full, and I saw it go like right up into the red on the fade. Or the what do you call those? Like equalizers, whatever the bouncing things are. But yeah, that went way high.
Large Mesh Super Chatted $1.69.
Nice. Go full? I'll go full. I could leave it up there in case anyone does it again. So. Yeah, so I can't remember if I think I ended the last on Thursday, so if anyone was here on Thursday with talking about these old, yeah, they're Shimanos. I don't know what, the group set in general is what, Dior? Does that sound right? Yeah, Dior. But yeah, the indexed ones, of course it's going to work now when I say it doesn't work. Just to get to the biggest chain ring on the front, it just has been a real, it barely does it. And so I've cleaned them out. You take off the bottom plates and you can flush them out and then re-grease them, or real light like lubricant. And I've done it so many times that it's not worth it anymore. And so Otis and Yonda, I can't remember which one, Otis or Yonda, were like, just switch to friction in the front, you know. So they gave me the Sun Race. It's actually, I look at the retail is super cheap. Does that look it up? $9. But for the way I ride this bike, wouldn't let them do just 69. Oh, so the minimum is 169. Is it gonna go? Did Pudgy get ripped off? Oh.
Rick Urbanovsky super chatted $3.99.
This is no fair. I'm the only one who doesn't get to hear it because I don't have any way to hear the.
Pudgy pedal pusher super chatted $1.99. Floppy donkey balls.
You allow people to have a robot cuss out loud, and that's apparently how you make money on YouTube, right? So classy, as Rick said. So yeah, replacing the front with friction is what I'm going to do because it's a triple chain ring. And it's just a pain, and I don't need to shift the front that often. Obviously, it's almost always into the middle one, and then I go into 3 once in a while, like just on this flat road, or if it's not that bad out. So I'm gonna give it a chance. Give it a try. I have never messed with this mountain bike barely. Like just maintained it, and like I said, I've had it since 2001. This is 2001, but it looks like I need to take. So the brake lever has to come off. Oh, well, they really. William asked if I've ever thought of putting drop bars on this Trek, and I have thought about that. I prefer drop bars on everything. I would even prefer drop bars on this. I just don't want to invest that much money in just a winter bike because then I would also be going to, well, I mean, I guess I could do bar ends. But yeah, then I'd be switching everything. And I don't think, unless I went all friction, you know, with like bar ends, that the group set down here would be compatible. I bet Pudgy would know better than I do about that kind of stuff, but I think I would just end up getting in too deep, and that money could just be better spent on a cheaper drop bar winter bike than to invest too much. I mean, this is obviously sentimental. I'm always going to have it, and I want it to be rideable, but I don't think the investment would be worth it. I think Otis was first telling me that from Dirty River, that when I first brought that up, he was like, you're going to end up changing a lot of stuff if you do that. So I do like the idea. I just probably don't think it's practical. If someone thinks different, or if there's, then let me know, and then maybe that is something I would look into for next winter. Oh, this is probably going to have to, the cable's probably going to have to be undone before yeah. Friction bar ends, yeah. I'm not sure I guess I've never rode with friction bar ends. I actually even have one from that One by cyclocross bike that my friend gave me all the components because he bought it on eBay. I've talked about this on here before, but he bought a vintage cyclocross bike on eBay. It turned out the head tube was bent, and so he couldn't put the fork through it, and he told them, and they just said, okay, here's your money back, keep it. So he gave it to me. I have the frame hanging because it's really cool. It's either a Dutch or a Belgian frame, but the company, I can't even find anything about it. But then all the components might be useful for some things, and this could be one of them. But let's see, where's my... It's not 9-speed, it's 8-speed. So it's Dior, it's 8-speed Dior. So flared bar. It needs flared bars. Should I put bull horns on it with bar ends on it at the end? When me and Ben, if you watch the video that I don't know what the name was, but it was we did 50 miles in the snow. That might have been the name of it actually. But the thing is, I end up like in, maybe it's stack height, maybe it's other things, but I'm just like I said, I rode this for 15 years and never had a problem with it. Then once I got bikes with drop bars, I never wanted to ride anything but drop bars. But I find myself like riding with my hands in different positions, and that's why I like drops, even if they're, even like on my gravel bike where they're fairly wide, but just the different hand positions and like doing 50 miles in the snow. So it was 50 miles, but it was like, if that was a summer ride, the amount of effort we put in, the time would have been like 75. Just how like the palms of my hands were hurting. I found myself trying to ride on my fingers like that. So the next day I found my knuckles hurting. I'm like double knuckled so I could ride like that. And just all the different ways that, I don't know, spending a long time on a flat bar bike, I don't like it. So yeah. And I usually wouldn't do that long of a ride on this bike anymore. It would, but see what you guys are. Yeah. This is a simple, I should show this too, this older style derailleur, and again, some of you guys who have been around longer than me, actually paid it, well, that's not going to show up, huh? But paid attention to bikes longer than I have. I have a super wide angle lens on here, so it's only 35 to 16. But yeah, it's almost like a vintage bike. It only pulls from the one side. The cable doesn't go around to the other side. Yeah, it's really hard to see, but yeah, it's just a straight down, which I figured is going to be easy to mess with, and we'll find out. But I did hit this with my favorite stuffed WD-40 before coming on because, yeah, a winter bike, that came out fairly easy. So it just goes right there. Okay. I remember when I bought this bike, I thought the 3 exposed cables across the top looked super sweet. That was just something that...
Large image super chatted $2.69, 69 Bogabooey.
Oh man.
Pudgy pedal pusher super chatted $4.99, just a small town girl. Living in a lonely world. She took that midnight train going anywhere.
Does it make you... I know my face isn't in here. Should I do this? Does it make you pay more to get more words in? I don't know how it works. That's BG. Seriously, this is more than like since we had the 1,000 party and like there's like ads on like the more popular videos that I pop them on before the stream. Letting people swear and having a robot read it out loud like has made me more money than the rest of my YouTube history. So I think there's like 3,000 monetized views on my anyone could go bike packing video, and someone putting in Journey lyrics, like a live stream is more valuable than that. The more words, the better. The VO sign stem seems to be a good fix for older mountain bikes and drop bars. Yeah, that's another thing. I think me and Ben were discussing it, and I was wondering because he switched his Cannondale touring the opposite direction. He went flat on it, and I was discussing with him how like stem length and stem stack, and how you have to think about that for when you do switch to keep the handling from getting too weird. Taking the RockShox off and putting this Kona, what was it, the Kona Project 2 on here, it seemed to keep the head angle or the rake, whatever you want to call it, about the same. I didn't notice any difference. But yeah, I think going to drop, then you have to think about it more. And since I haven't done it, it's something I would do the research on or talk to people who knew what they were talking about. Spendat put, William saying, Spendat put drop bars on an old Specialized mountain bike, turned out pretty sweet. Yeah, there's kind of a whole, like, there's kind of been a whole trend with that, right, for a little while. Because, well, one, everyone was saying that modern gravel bike is just a vintage, or this era mountain bike with drop bars, which, I was watching Jan Hein on Pathless Pedaled on his live stream. He was saying, yeah, go ahead, experiment, like make a cool bike, especially if you know, they're not expensive, the parts aren't expensive. He was like, but no, they're not the same. Like, you know, gravel bikes have and gravel bikes, a loose term for whatever you want it to be, but have geometries that are built for, you know, the way they are and everything like that. I'll have to check that out. Oh, this fork is suspension corrected. Okay, so it was made to put onto a mountain bike that had a suspension fork, basically. I'll have to check out that video, because I would be interested in seeing, I know people have been doing it, but I haven't watched a lot of YouTube videos on them doing it, so. Oh, this is like ratcheting. There was a company that made ratcheting top tube shifters. I have a set of them. I had put them on my Motobacon, my dad's old Motobacon, before I stopped riding it. It's a wall hanger now because it's still in good shape, and it was my dad's, and my other vintage bikes are better. But it's kind of the precursor to indexed, right? Chatted about. Is this going to be long enough? Oh man, what a mess. Maybe. Oh yeah, there's the Discord link, and we should get in some bike photos. There's been bunch of bike photos posted this week, but if you don't know about the Discord, it's where we've been showing a lot of this is a screwdriver. It's where I showed the drink pics earlier, and everyone's been putting their bike pics in there, and then we've been sharing them on the stream, especially the ones where we're just chatting from my desktop upstairs. Huh. Is there going to be a conflict with the... Because this lever is going to be on the top, and the old ones are on the bottom. No, the brake lever's down, so that shouldn't really matter. It just takes some getting used to, some new muscle memory. So that's all the way back is the easy. forward, it's pulling tension. I need to grab, oh, I got a screwdriver on the multi-tool. Get in here. So. Poor man's gravel bike. And then, you know, when it comes to that, I have my vintage French bike that I converted from 27 to 700 and was able to get 38s on there. And that's kind of the ultimate poor man's gravel bike right there. There's a nut on this one? No. Get this set up a little bit better. Yeah. Trying to think of where I want this position wise. You know, it's like if you're sorry, Broadford, I forgot what I said that you're commenting about might be able to be switched over to friction. This is a friction shifter, and that's what I'm doing. Because on the rear, I still want to have the indexed, but I've totally lost my train of thought on what your comment is in relation to. Oh yeah, so. Oh, it is friction. Yeah, it is. It's just ratcheting. Yeah, I'm calling it ratcheting. So it has a ratcheting mech in it which I think will be nice. Like I said, I had some top tube ones that were like that, and I really liked them because it does. You get that feel for. You'll get that muscle memory for how many clicks is getting you in without the front derailleur actually rubbing on the chain at all. So. It might too, or no, that takes it apart. You know, some of those old ones had, like the old down tube ones, you had that switch that would go between indexed and friction. Does it? What does this have that? I'm wondering if this is just holding the top plate on or if it's controlling how much tension there is on the lever. Does anyone know the answer to that? Yeah, I think it's just friction with clicks. I don't think there's any fake indexed, you know. Poor man's indexing. Oh, this came with a new piece of housing, I think. So, I'm laughing at on this episode of Tim Breaks His New Shifter. Now I'm going to put the brake lever back in place. That's the other thing I've always wondered, and I'd be interested in, like, I know, Pudgy, you were a mountain biker, like you said, you rode full suspension mountain bikes and all that stuff. One of the things that's kind of weird to me too, I mean, I know the wider bars are for leverage, obviously, and I get it, if you're hitting rough terrain, you need that, like, leverage. But the thing is, I feel so much less secure because, like, now just like like on a flat bar bike, when I'm like really hitting rough terrain, like you just kind of have your thumb like holding you on if you want to be on the brake levers. Whereas like I feel like in like a drop bar, when I go into the drops, like like if I'm on rough terrain on my gravel bike, I'm not in the drops because I'm trying to be aero. It's because your body gets lower, so you have more leverage. But then also your hands are so locked in there, even if you're going for the lever, the brake lever. It's just one of those weird things, and it's probably, even though I come from riding a mountain bike for years, one of those things I like so much better about drops is that little sense of security that you get, I feel personally, from being in a drop versus being with my hands up on a flat bar. Oh, use your pointer finger to brake. So, yeah. Yeah, and if you're just trying to modulate and slow down. God, I'm 42 years old and I just learned how to brake on a mountain bike. Like I've always said in any of these building episodes, this is not how to do it. This is how I'm doing it. Or I just like to tinker. So. You feel way more control on flat bars. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's just what you get used to. I completely got used to drops as soon as I switched over. I loved them right away. And like I said, was the first flat bar bike was the early 80s, late 70s, boat anchor. But it was just like as soon as I got it on, I'm like, oh, I feel so much more comfortable and faster on this thing, But yeah, and same thing. It's just like talking about how many bikes you should own. I don't feel like there's a right answer here. It's like it's just personal preference, what you like, go with what works for you, you know. But that seems decent. I think the angle on this new friction shifter being on top, and where I'm used to the, indexed front and back right here, is something I'll probably end up adjusting a little bit after I ride it a couple times, which won't matter because I'm not really locked in any ways because, like I said, I'm used to drops where you're putting everything under the bar tape. I think we'll have the flexibility that I will be able to adjust it a little bit if I feel like it's bothering me. But again, like I said, it's something that I'm really going to be going from the middle ring to the big ring, so it means I'm already kind of moving. So to push that up, I don't think is going to be a huge deal. And to go back down when I'm coming to a traffic light or hill or whatever, I think to pull a hand off and do it real quick shouldn't be a big deal. We'll find out. But kind of like all bars. I rode Otis's like swept bars when he had his Rivendell. I think we were talking in the Discord about Rivendell's and that Blue Lug video and everything. But and again, I know you would get used to them, but like I felt so weird riding around on that thing, like so goofy, so like the handling felt so weird to me. And again, it's because I've never done it, I'm not used to it. But and Petty said it's like Canon and Nikon both get the job done, but some are used to one and some the other. Yeah, exactly. I the guy I bought the studio off of was all Nikon, and when I would assist him, I was basically just setting up the lights, and he'd be like, "Turn that one up, turn that one down," and all that kind of stuff. And we were on location, and he handed me his backup camera, and he was like, "Hey, can you just get some? Like, I know you're good at this stuff. Just get some environmental shots while we're here." And I couldn't figure out how to get anything right. Like change the f-stop, change the shutter speed because I've just always used Canon, and it's not that Canon is better than Nikon. Well, until this year, they kind of are now, but whole a different story. But in general, they leapfrog each other just like PCs leapfrog, Macs and game systems, PlayStation and Xbox. Same thing. One's better one year, one's better than next year. But yeah, I couldn't figure anything out because I just know where the dials are on my Canon, and yeah, it's same thing with anything, and I think Ben goes back and forth between SRAM and Shimano, but all my drop bar bikes are Shimano, and when I get on a SRAM bike, I don't like it, but it's not because it's not as good, it's because I'm not used to it. I know exactly how to, you know, exactly what to do with Shimano. And I think it's part of it that this is Shimano. When I went to drop bars and STIs for the first time, they were very natural because even though the mechanism may look a little different, it feels almost switching to it seamless. I mean, it made total sense to me. So I'll make sure it's not going to crowd my grip. No, that won't be a problem because it's on the inside. The brake lever is on the outside, right? Oh, it doesn't hit as it swings. I don't think that shouldn't be a problem. Here, go this way. That'll be alright. Did I ever replace that cable? That's like the original housing on the back, and it's probably pretty stupid to run it through there again, but I think it's a friction shifter, and I think I might just run it through the old housing. It's going smoothly through. It doesn't need to be crisp, it's not indexed, right? That that little stream elements, guys, gives you guys good advice. Some pliers. I'm gonna pull that 1 second. I can't believe this. I really can't believe this original group set is still working. One, the way I beat it up now, but I didn't maintain my bike when I was younger. It was just, like I said, didn't think of myself as a cyclist. I was just a dude who had a bike and who liked to ride it. But I've mentioned that on here before, is when I first took it into Wheel and Wrench and I let them tune it up when I got back into cycling like 5-6 years ago. They were like, this era of Trek mountain bike just tunes up so well. See. Put some of these tools down. What's going on here? Oh, I didn't tighten down enough. I'm moving the whole thing. But it's working. And not that it's complicated. It's pretty much as easy as a setup can get, right? Excellent. Excellent. All right, much better. My pants are falling down. I didn't put a belt on. I was actually shooting video all day. I shot at that scale company up in Twinsburg again, and then I had some videos to finish up here. So I think I pulled my belt and my shoes off to get comfortable. The tires on this bike are 45 North Grabdales. They're studded. Steel studded tires. And they are 2 point, I'm trying to remember how wide they are. Oh, my next thing was the brakes. The brakes are not in good. Oh, there we go. I don't know. Yeah. Grabdale 45 North. They're like 2.3s or something. Oh, here it is. Oh, 2.0. 2 inch. 26 by 2 inch. So. Hey, what's up, Lanky? Hey, what's up, Terry? Let's see if this conversion of friction for the front works. All right. Yeah. Nice. So simple $9 fix to a problem that I've been dealing with for like, I don't know, at least 3 winters now. So. Yeah, Terry, I was converting this old mountain bike, my winter bike, taking the index shifter off because it just keeps going bad. I keep having to flush it out, and relube it, and I just got sick of it. And then my friends at the bike shop were like, just throw a cheap friction shifter on the front. So that's what I'm doing. So you still got it indexed in the back where it matters more, but yeah.
Pudgy Pedal Pusher Super Chatted $1.99. Large Marge has gigantic balls. They're glorious.
Oh, I did want to check on the brakes on this, too, is the other thing. Are the 26, like, old mountain bike 26, are they what is the difference? Are these different than 650Bs that are now becoming popular on gravel bikes? That's one thing I always wonder what the 26 is, because I'm wearing this rim, and the brake track is pretty much... I got to think they're getting to the dangerous level. They're the original rims. And I was wondering, how hard are these to replace and source? So basically, like I said, I know the bike I've owned the longest is the bike I know the least about, because I'm just not a... I never maintained my own mountain bikes when I rode a mountain bike. So, and I've asked people around when I still rode this, but now I just don't really haven't paid attention, especially since it's just become a winter bike. It's just something every fall I start to get it back in business, just so I could ride it over the winter with my studded tires. 27.5 is 652B. That's right. Yeah. These are even smaller. I would think. Yeah. I always thought they were, but they're not even. These aren't even common in the mountain bike world anymore, right? Like full suspension bike. Are those? Do they make those in the 29er? Are those 29ers or 29ers something totally different? So 26 is just 26. Interesting. So how are they... Is 26 inch still, like, if I wanted to replace this with something inexpensive, like, is there something to find out there? When I say inexpensive, I don't mean total garbage, but this bike does not need a, $1,000 wheel set, obviously. What are these? These are Bontraggers. So, yeah, Trek's own brand. Corvairs. They're still there, not as common, but still available. All right. Oh, these pads aren't as shot as I thought they were. It's probably running on these rims that are like totally in bad shape. And plus the conditions I run this thing in are pretty rough. Where's that shop rag? Fat tires. What are is every fat bike are all the fat bikes their own dimension, or is the diameter a something akin to a 700 or 650B? I would think the rims have to be smaller, right? Because don't some people have fat bikes that they also run as, you could also run as just like kind of more of a plus size? I hit some. Did I make a video when I did that? No, I don't think I did. But I went out, and I thought everything was going to be frozen because the temperature had not gone above 30. But I went out for a ride, and it turned out to be the sun was out all day, and I went out in the evening completely muddy. So I think all the noise I was getting from this brakes was just a bunch of grit, more or less. Now that I think about it, these pads do need to be replaced pretty soon, but at least cleaning them is going to be. Fat bikes are 26 for the most still. A few at 27.5. Oh yeah, I if I said that wrong, I knew they were swapping whole wheel sets to go from a fat bike to a to take your fat bike to not be a fat bike. Yeah, I didn't mean tires, I meant wheels. But yeah, I was just wondering what the wheel dimensions are because I would assume fat tires are puffing out, just like going from a 700C to a 650B on a gravel bike with 2 dimensions. Then you could, your 650Bs, then you could put your bigger tires on. This is, oh, it's, I think this is the most we've ever accomplished on one of these streams, right? Usually I would spread this, putting these friction shifters on over like 3 episodes. That's the other thing. I have never taken apart these hubs and rebuilt them. And I cannot believe how smooth they still seem to ride. And not with any, like, there's no, like, back and... I don't know. This bike is magic. I swear to God. I was saying to Ben when we were on that 50-mile ride in the snow that... I was like, when something breaks, it's going to be like here when we're 25 miles from home, finally. My luck will run out. But... see if that... Yep. Not sounding so gritty now, nice. Just needed to be cleaned up. Drinking beer and bike talk. Nice way to finish my day. I like your photography site also. You're a Renaissance man. I don't know about that, but I appreciate the comment, Juan. Yeah. Oh, Summit, you might have a set of wheels? The front is relatively bad, but the back, I mean, I could feel like it's like, what's the right word? Like serrated. And I could feel how it's like coned. Are there, I'll have to look closely under the light if there's like any kind of indicators on these things to know. The hubs are super wide. The super chats are distracting you guys, so I'm able to work. Yeah. Like I said to anyone who just joined, you give guys a way to make a robot swear and say stupid stuff, and you make more money on YouTube than you ever have. So, more engagement, more. How did these ones? Yeah, the back wasn't. The rims are way worse, but the brakes not as picked up as much debris as the front had. Also, I'm out of the cable end, so if you're wondering why I didn't put a end on that, I need to grab one. Unfortunately, Dirty River's closed for a couple days. Maybe Yondo will run over here like he did that other night. I don't think Yondo's watching tonight, is he? Yeah, man. Guys, I'm pretty happy about. Oh, sorry, that was probably real loud. Bumped the microphone. Pretty happy about this. When they feel like tin foil, it's time to change them. Yeah, if my finger makes an impression, that's when you. I was bombing, so on my way to, usually if I'm gonna go downtown Akron to the shops to pick up, or to pick up trails or to go downtown, or if I'm gonna take the trails north into the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, I bombed down this old brick road, and I was doing it the other day, and I was getting towards the bottom, and started to brake, and in my mind, it's the kind of person I am, which is probably why I've never been an extreme rider or anything like that in general. But I start to picture like the rims collapsing and everything falling apart, and then like a sudden stop in the front wheel and me going over the brake or going over the bars, because I'm doing like 30 miles an hour down this brick road. So yeah, I think anyone who starts to envision all the stuff that can go wrong will never be extreme or like a great mountain biker or anything like that. So oh, you'll know. Velocity has a sub $500 26-inch wheel set. You could find a decent basic stuff for $200 to $300. Yeah, I mean it'd be worth doing. I mean I'm still putting a few hundred miles a year on this guy. So, like I said, I mean I've had it for 20 years, or probably 20 years in the summer whenever I would have bought it. Hey, what's up, Chuckles? No. Maybe I should hit this with some dish soap before I get any farther. Now I'm far enough that it's hard to get back off, so I'm in that halfway debate. Yeah, so you said some of the Mavics and the Suns have a groove for rim wear. That's what I was wondering, but don't some rims have just like that little divot, some on the brake track, so you can see on road wheels? Is that just a road wheel thing? I'm sure they're long gone on this bike. 82 degrees today. Yeah. Yeah, I was watching. Chuck says it was just finished playing pickleball. It was 82 today, and then I watched another guy I know that I'm friends with from Terry B's stream. I was watching him Twitch stream. Drift King. He's been in the chat a few times. He was going to pick up dinner, and it just looked beautiful. And he has short sleeves and his gloves on. And next week we're going to have negative temperatures here. Some days with like highs and just the low teens. That's what they're saying. So, oh, that makes total sense. Said pressing flat against the outside of the grip will, yep, make it widen out. That's the way to do it. Now it's kind of collapsing on the end here a little bit, but yeah, that got me that much farther already. If that shows up at all, probably not. Yeah, but that's doing so much better than. Yeah, but I was watching Draft King ride out to get his dinner and so jealous of how nice it was. I mean, I liked yesterday I went for that snow ride. That video will be out tomorrow morning. And I'd like to change the scenery and all that, but the second I start looking at something with like green everywhere and just looks beautiful outside, I just miss summer instantly. I am always going to prefer summer and warm weather. So I didn't put that back in quite as far. I'm wondering if I should move it or not worry about it. Oh, by the way, Summit Perry, for the swag giveaway, I didn't ship your stuff because I'm not going to say where it is here, but I saw where your address is. And so I would like to, I'm going to do like a towpath route and then head out that way and drop it off one day. So this weekend, maybe this weekend or on Monday, I'm hoping to do that. So, but I've looked and nobody whose stuff I've shipped has gotten it yet anyway. So you'll probably still get your stuff right in line with everybody else in the swag giveaway. Pudgy, your stuff, I actually ordered it from the website online. Everybody else's stuff, swag I had here that got shipped out, I ordered yours from the Teespring website. It said it shipped today, so it said yours should get there on Tuesday. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, for our hitting 1,000, we did a party, and anyone who left a comment in the Discord got some swag, and I randomly picked what it was, whether it was shirts, stickers, pouches, and stuff like that. So it's a little update on that, because it's usually the same group of people we were chatting with in here. I like that little ratcheting mechanism. That's kind of cool. For man, $9 part. We'll see how it holds up, but again, at $9, I mean, not that I like to make trash, but it's not doing much. I mean, it's such a simple device. I don't think there should be any problems. Nike, you didn't send an address. Yeah, you commented in there, but yeah, send me an address. Drop me a DM in the Discord or an Instagram. Actually, when I was looking through the DMs and like making the note of everyone's, like, I'm old school like that. I was still just writing it out on a piece of paper so then I could cross them off as I do them and get everything together. I was like, I thought I saw Lanky's name in here before, but I don't see it now. So. I'm also, this will be in the store, but I'm working with he's streaming live right now. He streams under, and Instagram is under Pixel Wolf, but Danny, who's usually in here and he uses just Danny on here, his artwork is really cool. And I dropped a link to, he opened up a store on Teespring too with some really cool designs, like the goblin with the cycling cap on. I'm gonna get one of those shirts. But me and him are working on a couple designs for my store, so those are going to be really cool. The preliminary sketches he sent me, I just like totally in love with, so I can't wait to see the finished product and share them with you guys. Obviously, I'll have the shirts on the stream, and then we could promote Danny's stuff too. So he's an illustrator, and he's trying to get more work, so hopefully we could bump him up to the community too. I'm wondering if this is supposed to do anything. I'm just still the screw on the top, if it's adjusting the. I think it's just holding this cheap shifter together. I jump over the Discord and see some bike pics from this week. Oh, Broadford posted what he's drinking. Like I said, this Trogs Perpetual. Nice. Let's go to, or come on. Danny posted some cool winter pics too earlier in the week. Alright, so that's the trek out in the snow yesterday at lunch, and that's the video that'll be up tomorrow. So, oh yeah, Rick busted his hand. I don't know if you guys saw the video. Some of you guys in the Discord did, but he has a video of himself going over the bars as he tried to do a creek crossing. Oh yeah, Danny's ride looked. They went out. I think they had a fire and everything. Yeah. It's not opening very large. Let's. Oh, it's just the size of the photo. Yeah, I was wondering what this is. What they're going under here. It looks really cool. Did I use goblin as a verb? I'm sure I did. Oren posted his bike photo. Let's open the original. Nice. What is that? I can't read the. Full fender. Looks like the right bike for this season. Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, Robin, I saw your comments also in Terry's Discord talking about the ride you did with Danny. Yeah, I saw your comments over there. Yeah, nice. On ice going, yeah, because, well, Robin's here. He's on that ride. So that was, you guys were riding on a frozen lake out there, right? Let's go back to him. I think there was a video in there too, but I think it's small because he might have screen capped. Danny might have screen capped him, right? Oh yeah, it's not still on the right. We were riding on the chain of lakes in Minneapolis. They're all connected. Oh, nice. We biked to an island too. Yeah. So is this photo? Is this Danny? Is this? That's pretty cool. That looks like a really rad ride. Yeah, we haven't. I mean, we just kind of got hit. But around Christmas, we had a bunch of snow here, but then it went away quick. We've had like really nice weather, which has been great, but it's just finally gotten like the last a couple days over the weekend were really dreary, and it was almost wet, and then Now we're going to get the cold weather, right after, Groundhog's Day. Now we're getting the super cold stuff. But it's not that unusual. We have cold Februarys up here. It's crazy that you guys in Columbus got even more snow than we did up in Akron and Northeast Ohio, though. That's super rare. We usually get dumped on with the lake effect and all that kind of stuff, and the Canadian air will come down and hit us and doesn't get down to Columbus. I'll see like a 10-degree difference for a 2-hour drive sometimes. Terry says he needs some of those oven mitts. Yeah. Poggies? Poggies? Yeah. Yeah, Danny streamed the ride. I got the notification, and me and Danny were talking in his Instagram direct messages. But I said I saw that he said he was going live with that ride, and I had just got on my bike to go for my ride, so I didn't check it out. I need to go back and see if I think the videos stay up there, don't they? But yeah, I've never used the oven mitts, but yeah, riding with Ben, Ben, you got two sets, right? One for your drop bar bikes and one for your flat bar bikes, and some you were saying how you could ride with just them sometimes without even gloves. I've been doing like I've showed in some of the videos, like triple gloves set up with wool gloves, fleece gloves, and then lobster gloves over them. And that's when it's about 28 or below. That's what I need to use. But the triple are too warm for me, like over 30. Oren said that was a Kona Sutra. Nice. Matthew asked if I did the friction conversion. Yeah, I did. I got it converted over, and everything is looking like it's working pretty good. No problem. It's like a ratcheting frickin' friction mechanism that works really well. So, yeah. What were we saying? $9, and it came with the cable and the cable housing. So, yeah, we'll see. Oh, that's what. Yeah, the Poggies seem really nice. I should probably invest in them because I don't like to stop riding. My problem is my feet get cold before my hands. And my hands I could always warm up. I could find ways to, like I said, the lobster gloves, and I could adjust with the three glove system that I use in winter riding. But I've been riding with the 510s, and then I just got a pair of Aaron's putting in an order with Chrome when they had everything marked down around the holidays. I got some thin Chrome wool socks, so I wear those and then wear some thicker merino socks. And then with my insulated 510s, you'd think I'd be fine, but even when I went out and I just did 2 hours yesterday, down in the snow, so slow on this bike, but in deep snow, but 17 miles, what would have been, say, if that was a summer ride, that duration would have been like a 30-mile ride. But regardless, even that was only it was 29, 30 out, and still when I got home, my feet were cold. And they were never to the level of being problematic on the ride. But if it had been a few degrees colder, if I had spent another hour out there, they would have been, to the point where it would have been bothering me. And I'm just and I don't feel like that's been as much of a problem in the past. And I don't know, is it getting older? I don't know. But it's always been that's most of my limiting factor on cold weather riding is not my hands, but it's my feet. And that's being dry. The 510s are waterproof, and they're water resistant. They say they're waterproof. I mean, like I've said before, I wouldn't walk through a stream with them on. They would get wet. But in snow and stuff like that, especially a cold snow below 30, they're not going to get wet. So dry feet, moisture wicking socks, and my feet are still getting cold. And I'm almost thinking, do I go with the plastic bags or the tin foil and some of the old school stuff and try that out to really get them warm? The thing that's always worried me about that is them getting sweaty and being damp. But I think on my next ride, on a short one, I need to test that out because that's my problem. Ben and a couple friends on Sunday were going out to do a century, and I was supposed to go with him, but it was like 28 degrees, and I'm like, I can't go out there for 7 hours. I know my feet will be just hurting like crazy at the end of that ride. See what you guys are saying. Matthew said getting close to 2 feet there. Wow. Yeah, so I'm riding. Pudgy said he switches to flat in the winter, and that's why I go flat. Like, I got the deities on this, and then my gravel bike I run the nicer deities on, so I could be riding. And I mean, I do cages and stuff too, so I'm never. I'm not a clipless guy, no matter what. But yeah, so I have room. You know what I mean? And I bought the 510s slightly bigger. At least a half size on purpose, so I would have the room, and you're not being so restricted. I'm almost wondering if there is though right before my toes where the last lace is, if that's a little too much of a pinch point, and that's why my toes are getting cold, and maybe I need to just go even bigger with a set of winter shoes. Terry said he's jealous of all the snow riding. He should be back in NYC tomorrow. Can't wait to ride in it. Yeah, I didn't know when you're getting back. I know you were gone with your family, but probably hate it the day after though. That's how well, since we haven't had a lot of snow, I've been enjoying riding in it this winter. So even though it's February, it's not bothering me yet. By a lot of winters by February, I'm like, okay, I'm sick of it. It's not pretty anymore. It's not fun anymore. I'm sick of being cold. I want to get on like a bike with 32 millimeter tires and just ride. I don't want to spend time getting ready, all that kind of stuff. And that's half the problem. Yesterday too, I'm just thinking like, okay, so I'm going to fit this ride in this window of my day. And so it's like, again, I ended up leaving, I think, at least 20, 25 minutes after when I wanted to. And it's like the most annoying thing to me about winter is just that, like, holy hell. Like, it's like, sometimes I even put my little thin wool hat on and I start to walk because then I've got that sensation of something on my head. I'm like, I'm not wearing my helmet. So now my bike's out in the cold. I come back in, put my helmet on, then it's like, yeah, it's just everything. It's just like, so many things to think about. Also, the thing is, the small triangle on my mountain bike, so I don't put my frame bag on here. So then I'm always considering a different way to carry my tools, and yeah, winter's a hassle. Sometimes, like yesterday, I went out and I'm like, this is great. I'm like, yeah, I'm putting way more effort out to go way shorter distance, but it's like beautiful. I'm having a good time. I was sweating after a little while, but in general, usually by February, I'm just totally frustrated with the whole thing. Yeah, the feet warmers. I was wondering. I'm worried I don't have enough room for them. So like the same thing with hot hands that you could put in your gloves. Like if you're going to go sit and watch sports or do something outside for a while. I know they make like the toe ones, and I think that might be something I need to look into. I mean, it wouldn't have helped me for like a whole century ride like Large Marge just did, but for a couple hours, and I think you get like 3-4 hours out of those things. It might be worth looking into. Um, when I've talked about doing some winter camping, I've always thought like I would bring those. So in the bottom of the sleeping bag, I would have them down there by my feet. See what you got. Towpath was pretty nasty. Oh, you went out today? Yeah, so I was thinking of going out again today. So this is for those of you who aren't from around here, running the whole length of the Cuyahoga Valley and then basically our old canal system here. We now have like a really nice bike path, mostly crushed limestone. But you have to be in the winter. It's weird because yesterday, since the snow was just falling overnight and into the morning, I knew I could go out and ride it on like mostly fresh snow. By the time I turned around, all the walkers and hikers, though, their feet print were already freezing into it. And it becomes a thing here where now the temperature doesn't stay below freezing and we don't get as much snow as we used to. Um, there's a thing called global warming if you're unaware, but it's made it so it gets really rough and nasty to ride on after a little while with you know. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, I probably wouldn't go out there again today. So At least we don't have goat heads. End of the summer, 6 a.m. It's 90 to 100. Yeah. Robin says maybe my shoes are too tight. Yeah, definitely something I'm thinking about. And like you're saying, the overshoes for clipless, that's why I think I almost need like undershoes, something that's more maybe wind resistant, whether it's just something simple like plastic, you know. Matthew says he might try Zwift though, as much as he hates indoor riding. Yeah. So yeah, I've actually made a couple of videos about this, and I thought like, and I used to like be one of those people who'd be like, I don't ride my bike to be sitting in a basement or in a garage. Like I ride it because I want to be out in the world and having fun. Um, Last winter, I ended up buying her late last fall a trainer, and it's pretty much the cheapest smart trainer you can get, and from the reviews would be decent. So $500. It's a SARS M2, but it is a smart trainer. And with Zwift, it's not something I want to do all the time, but it can be enjoyable. It's a video game, and that's under your own power. So anyone who likes video games, I couldn't imagine you wouldn't like at least be able to do it. Like especially like I said with a smart trainer, because then the hills are simulated and stuff like that. But I have a good time, especially going out in a group ride. You know, I just end up racing. My competitive nature kicks in, which isn't even how I ride in the real world. I'm like looking at my placing. I'm like getting the draft. Yeah, I have a good time like doing Zwift. Like if the weather's nice, there's never a time where I'm like, oh, I should go and race people on Zwift. But when it's like raining and 34, and I just want to get a ride in and I want to move my legs, I end up jumping on there, signing up for some event, and I end up like having a really good time. And I get off the thing and I'm just like dead. Like I got like a better workout than I would get doing anything else. So yeah, there's an expense to the setup. It's nice if you have a bike that's dedicated to it, which I do. I have a road bike that I'm not really using in any other regards anymore. And if you wonder why I keep looking over here, it's sitting right here next to me. But yeah, I've like I said, don't want to do it all the time. Don't do it if the weather's decent. And even sometimes when the weather's bad, I'd rather be outside. But when I do, it's a change of pace, and it's a video game, and it can be fun, and it can be like really engaging with the smart trainers. Plus, then there's certain things where they have the simulated like Alpe d'Huez and Mont Ventoux. Like, when's the next time I'm gonna, or if ever, get to France and get to climb these iconic hills I watch in the race? So it's kind of fun to get the simulated experience of what it must be like and how hard it really is to go up something like that. I don't know. I like it. Like I said, I'd have a hard time thinking if I'm not a video game person, but if you are, I think you would definitely like it too, from that aspect. But yeah, and then you're riding around with people from all over the world. So when I sign up for an event, like when you're just sitting there spinning your legs at the start line, everyone's like kind of like signing in, like, and then sometimes there happens to be someone from around you, or but even when not, you're like talking to someone in Japan or talking to someone someplace you had visited once. You're like, oh, you're here? Like, oh, I visited there for blah, 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 blah. And it's just, whole kind of cool, nerdy element of a bunch of cyclists from all over the world riding at the same time. But they've added, like, so I was watching this, he's a YouTuber who does, like, cycling technology, GP Llama. I think he's one of the biggest at indoor cycling on YouTube. But they have a Grand Theft Auto that works with the smart trainers, and he was riding around he was finishing his Rafa Festive 500 in Grand Theft Auto, and so he's riding around, and then he's like pulling out a gun and like shooting the pedestrians and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy. But it was the same thing. It's a video game under his power, but seriously a video game, and I couldn't even believe that existed. And so he put in, and it gives you options too. So he put in a route so he didn't have to worry about steering and making the turns to get his mileage in. And then to finish his last couple miles, he turned that off and was free riding and just, going around blasting people, whipping hand grenades, running people over on the sidewalk. Just, crazy. Yeah, and like you said, Zwift is better than not riding at all. And there's some of those things too where you're in a hurry, it's raining outside, but you still just want to get a couple miles in, you want to keep your legs moving. I know Terry, when he was getting ready to head before he went to Sedona, so they were going out in doing some rides around Prospect Park and stuff like that. But if that day it had been like just horrible weather out, say it's 33 and sleeting and raining, and you're just trying to get some exercise in, that's what they, another advantage of just being, I want to spin my legs because we have horrible weather here sometimes, and New York has horrible weather, and a way to do it. So. Scott has a kick snap, yeah. Kicker snap, yeah. So you went with the, Matthew went with the Wahoo speed and cadence sensor and his current dumb trainer. Yeah, my girlfriend had last winter, she had like basically the SARS version of mine that wasn't a smart trainer and just the cadence sensor. And then don't you basically just use your gears in reverse then you can to make like to add resistance and all the kind of stuff like that? I wouldn't say anything like bad about like, spinning your legs in any way, but for me, the smart trainer adds a level of engagement that makes me able to do it longer than I would think I would be able to. I could get up, I could do an hour and a half. I did that video on doing the entire Rafa Festa 500 on the trainer. That was just like something that I got in the mentality of and decided to do. I, in general, would not be able to do 2 hours, 2.5 hours on the trainer. An hour is about my limit, and realistically, half hour, 45 minutes is more where I can go. But like feeling the hills and kind of stuff like that does help. Feeling the draft. They've done a really good job of simulating like drafting other cyclists and stuff like that, which is pretty incredible. But there's a Zwift patch that puts you in GTA. Is that what he was using? Huh. What time we got? 10:33. I'm out of it. Usually, if I was upstairs with my two screen setup on my desktop, I would have a video to cue to pop on. But I'm just going to walk off and grab one more beer real quick. There's still a few people hanging out, so why not? Grab myself a chair too. I've been on my feet the entire day. I made a commercial starting at 9 this morning. It's about a half hour away. So I shot a video commercial for a company that's from the Netherlands actually, but they just bought a company up here, and so they make scales for tow motors and pallet jacks. So shot a commercial for their latest project. I was like, I knew the material was going to be a little boring, and one was just a tech. We did two things. One was just like a tech video to cut down on their phone calls, like how to calibrate their scales, which is real boring and real techy and not fun. Not a lot of fun to shoot, and it won't be a lot of fun to put together. I'll have to go back and forth with the company to make sure I am getting everything in the right order, and it's just button pushing and all that. But the second one was their new product, which is just, if you think of tow motor forks, you could basically you drop your regular forks, pick these up, and the scales are all integrated in their Bluetooth. And this is going to be more like your fast-paced, typical commercial. And this one I had more fun with, and I put my camera into like higher frame rate to shoot slow-mo. And so with this, I'm going to like try and do something more creative and hopefully wow the company and the company back in the Netherlands. But that was more exciting for me to be like, okay, now I get to be creative. Now I get to make something unique, show off my videography skills. I'll get to do some sound design behind it. I'll, put in, the whooshes and all the kind of stuff that gives it like a full effect. So it was a little bit of both. And then I had to rush home after that because I was doing a virtual event, which wasn't live streamed. It's going to just be Zoom, but they're just going to play the video. So interviews with the young professional group and stuff like that. But that was kind of nice. They came in one at a time, but all these people are people who become friends of mine. So since I don't socialize and I don't do anything social besides ride my bike a little bit, it was kind of nice to be able to chat with a couple of these people, and they're all really, really good people who do great stuff for Akron. So that was, even though not exciting gig wise, but the people I was filming were people I really care about and like a lot. So yeah, but it's made for a long day. And so now a few days of editing. And then me and Erin shot a video about our new Crust Bombora last night. So that should be coming out Friday morning. I need to go and get some more B-roll of her bike. I realized I wanted more of like when she's talking about the parts. Same thing I was doing with the, toe motor forks. I want to get some more cool kind of slow motion stuff of the bike to cut in there. Yeah, it's really funny because Terry just commented. I was one of the reasons that obviously with the name of this you could tell, but the evening routine is from your morning routine. But I can't remember which one it was. But someone asked you in one of those morning live streams I was watching, and I used to start all these off with this story, like if you had gotten any benefit, I can't remember how he worded it, but benefit from doing the live streaming, and then you had mentioned how you had done work then doing live streams for people, running the live streams and all that. And that's what motivated me to do it. I'm like, not to live stream, but to learn how to live stream and have a motivation to learn how to live stream. So in case any of my clients asked me how to do it, I could say yes, and they didn't have to go somewhere else. And that's how I've done everything in my career. It's like someone wants something else. It's like, oh, teach yourself that so you could offer that service. But what's really funny is now I've done one live stream for a client, but now just like what I shot today, everyone's realized to just do the video work, make this package, put it on Zoom and have a live chat on Zoom. So the actual live streaming for clients isn't really a thing, even though it's a big part of my business, but we're not going live. We're making videos that are a prepackaged thing that'll be part of this virtual event, which is actually what I recommend to them now, because then we get to do the retakes, we get to put in the B-roll so I could cut over their speeches so they don't have to be perfect. It's just what ended up happening is we ended up getting like a little community of people chatting. So now I enjoy doing the live streams when originally it was just me and the, Pudgy Pedal Pusher and Large Marge. And I was just trying to find something to talk about and trying to throw a photo up to talk about or whatever it may be. But it's just kind of interesting how that kind of thing works out. How the motivation versus what the reality becomes as this weird, situation we've all been in keeps evolving with the pandemic and evolving with it and realizing better ways to do things and all that kind of stuff. My FPF for slow-mo, I prefer 120 for slow-mo. I'm using the Canon, what I'm filming on right now is the 5D4 and it maxes out at 60 FPS, but I was using the R5 today, but I was shooting it in 60 because for some weird quirk of the original firmware, it only does 60 and 1080, but it'll do 120 and 4K, but that 120 and 4K will just melt my computer right now. And that's part of the reason I was talking about earlier about I'm building a new computer. One is to handle the R5's footage better. So I could only shoot the R5 in 1080 and edit it. So I was shooting that footage in 60 and I'll slow it down to 24 FPS. But when I get the new computer, then I'll do the 4K 120. And also the next firmware that's supposed to come out this month is supposed to add 120 FPS at 1080. So even for YouTube, like when I shoot with my DSLRs, I shoot in 1080, but I export in 4K. What I found is the main thing with YouTube is if you upload in 4K, whether you shot it in 4K or not, they just give you way more bandwidth. And with the high bit rate, like especially with cycling stuff like the trees, when you're in the woods, especially with mountain biking stuff, just looks so much better. But yeah, so 120 is my preferred. The GoPros will do 240, like even my Hero 8. I almost think that's a little much to slow down to 24. I kind of like the 120 look. It's probably personal preference. And then, yeah, as Pudgy says, and then we talked about Blue Moon. That's, the early streams with three of us there. we were doing Google Map tours, basically, sitting around, zooming around Google Maps, talking about where the few of us were from, and Broadford, yeah. See, you said crusts aren't for you, but you love seeing them out in the wild and love the company. That's a lot what the video will be about too, with the crust. So since she's ridden around the parking lot, but not that I do reviews on this channel, anyways. But like impressions, I always talk about what I like, and maybe it'll work for someone else. We don't ride enough modern bikes to do reviews, but yeah. So the video is more why she chose crust, and the fact that she just bought the frame and built everything up and herself, and that's what she talks about. She had help from Ben, who works at the bike shop, Otis, who owns the bike shop, and my opinions, which have less effect on her because my opinion is 2 by Shimano, and she's got the right choice, which is 1 by SRAM for a gravel bike. So, but that's kind of what we were putting together, and the fact that too, with crust, the people you're buying your bike from, like. Their personalities, what they stand for, these are the people you're directly supporting. And that's kind of what she's talking about. Same thing with Ultra Dynamico, because she went with their tires. She kind of talks about that and why that was her choice. So I really like the crust. If I was in the market for a newer gravel bike with more clearance, I love the Evasion Light, the Lightning Bolt too. The Lightning Bolt is one of the coolest looking bikes. Matthew says 120 on the GoPro and riding at night in the snow backlit is fun. Huh. Yeah, I'd have to look at that. My problem with the Hero 8 at night is just there's no stabilization on the bike. So it would depend on where the camera was mounted. Maybe handheld, I could get away with it. But if it's locked onto the bike, there's just the stabilization is so bad at night. That's one thing in the Twitch stream with Drift King I was talking about, how he put up some footage of the 9 and how much better it actually did stabilize a little bit at night if there are some street lights or some light for it to go on. Whereas the 8, it's still just like, those are just shaking like crazy. It's almost unusable. It has to be short clips if you're going to put it in there. But I haven't tried it at 120, so I just didn't even think that would be a possibility. Yeah, the other... I was looking at that, and I think I first saw them through Terry B's channel. They do custom bikes in New York. It starts with a W. They just put out like a gravel bike that looks amazing. They're the one who do the offset seat stays. What is that? WEISMG. And they just put out a gravel bike that you can customize that looks really, really rad. I went to their website and I'm like specking it all out, and I'm like, what are you thinking? You're building a new computer? Like, you don't have any money for this kind of thing. But that was like let's see if again, if I was on my normal setup upstairs, it'd be easy to pull up that other screen and show them. Yeah, modern phones. Yeah, sometimes you do better with your iPhone in certain situations. Definitely photo wise. Like, I used to take photos with the GoPros, and then I realized like this is the 12 Pro, but even the last one I had is a better camera. If I'm not carrying a camera with me and I'm gonna take like a thumbnail for a YouTube video, this is definitely what I'm gonna pull out. So. I would love to pull a picture of that, what I was just looking at, though, talking about. This is my webcam angle. Let's see. There's an S in there. Okay. I don't think I'm logged into Instagram on this computer, unfortunately. How you like to take photos with your GoPro so you could mark the GPS? Well, you know, even if you're out on a Strava ride, it's going to show you with your phone where you took the photo. But my DSLRs, all my modern DSLRs have geotagging too. If you turn it on, they'll actually like make a route. I usually don't with the R5 because the R5 just honks on batteries anyways. So I don't do anything with that one that is going to add at all to the battery drain on that camera. Oh, there we go. Have you guys seen this brand? So I don't know how you, I don't even know how you pronounce it. Wise Manufacturing, is that what it is? But they just dropped these gravel bikes that are so beautiful. I wish I could make this full screen. Instagram is stupid and doesn't let you do that. I should click over their profile and go to the website. I think I first saw them on, or I think someone was bringing them up in Terry's chat on one of the morning routines, and that's where I first saw them from. Slow loading. Too many things running on this. Yeah, so it looks like they do full custom and semi-custom. Yeah, the Hammer Gravel SL. Yeah, I'm in love with it. Oh, the voice command for the GoPro. I don't always use it, but there are times when it is so convenient, especially for photos. GoPro take a photo when you could set it somewhere is a big, you know. See that? Hey Pudgy, have you brought up the bear claws before? I'm not sure. Come on. Yeah, this. Look at that. If you don't think that's as cool as it gets. And I like vintagey looking stuff, and this is not. But I just still, that is a cool looking. I mean, they go all the way up in price too, but it wasn't like definitely not outrageous for custom, you know, or even their semi-custom prices. But you mentioned the Bear Claw once or twice. Oh. Yeah, it was definitely full slam. I'm sure coming from the track world too, these are probably, I haven't looked at their chart yet, but I'm guessing this is pretty aggressive in the. I love the idea of those offset stays and how it has that lugged look on them is just so cool. Yeah, right there. Can I stop this? Can I stop this from scrolling? No. again, some stuff's not realistic. It just like catches your personal, you're like, ooh, I like that. I didn't even look at what the clearance. 42s. I think is that what it was, or was it 2 inches? I did look it up earlier today, but I think I looked it up first thing this morning, like getting out of bed, having my cup of coffee, and now it's like I said, it's been a long day since then, so I don't remember all the specs. Brother Cycles, and look at their, how do you say that, mete? Oh, I just set on the right. I got the web up. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool too. That kind of reminds me of like the a little bit like Bomb Tracks build, similar style vibe, which are bikes that I think are pretty cool also. Seeing if it would let me close that. Now I can't get back to the photo. Come on, scroll up. Yeah. Even have some Terravels on it too. Yeah, it's very cool. All right, Summit Perry. See you later. We should probably all be getting going, huh? It's almost 11. Jeez. That's the other thing when talking about starting out these streams. Like when it started out, it was always an hour. I hit 10 o'clock and I was like, I promised an hour. I got to an hour. We are out. Now it's like we're actually chatting. Like there was one night when, God, we had to be getting close to midnight, right? Yeah, really though, it is almost 11, and I need to just finish this beer and unwind for a little bit. So, yeah, tomorrow dropping the riding in the snow in the towpath video. We'll be live again on Thursday. I think maybe we'll get back into that vintage carbon look. It'd be cool to wrap that up, that build that's been stretched out over so many of these streams. Now that I got the laptop back up to date with like kind of how I'm doing the streams now, we could do that down here, work on that bike a little bit. You guys could laugh at me and give me some advice. Yeah, and then Friday Aaron's video. Hopefully I get some riding in over the weekend to make something cool. I have no plans, no idea yet. I'm shooting more commercial work on Friday evening, so yeah, I don't know. I think that's the plan for now. Yeah, keep sharing all the photos in the Discord. It's a blast. Jump over to Terry's, check that out. Pudgy, finally check out his channel. God damn it, we keep telling you. Especially as you coming from a suspension bike guy, his Sedona stuff is amazing. Add those videos. Jump over and watch those videos. They're absolutely. It's so beautiful, and the riding is so intense. I loved them. But all right, guys. Yeah. See you over in the Discord.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.